Well, good morning. I figured this morning, while I'm driving through Manitoba, to talk about some of the unique parts about this trip, or some of the differences from my normal GBN travels. I think the first one here is just the time of the year. Right now I started this on June 2nd, and I typically do all my GBN trips either in the spring or in the fall, and I have a tendency of doing that mainly to stay away from the tourist season. Also, it's a good time of year to catch some of the landscapes, either budding or getting ready in the spring, or obviously turning to fall weather. But a trip like Alaska, that's not as easy to do, because you know, there's a short window of good weather to go do it. So this trip is more of a, I'll call it a summer trip. And that's causing some, I'm missing some things because of that. For the first time ever, I'll miss my grandchildren's birthdays, which are June and July at the moment. And I say at the moment because my daughter's also having a baby, and that'll be November, so another birthday. But yeah, I hate missing family events like that, but sometimes you just can't have to do it. And this is one of those trips where I just had to make the decision to go ahead and do it. So yeah, timing of the year is a different thing for me. So the second item is really the kind of trip that I'm doing. Normally my GBN trips are focused on a very specific area. You know, the state of Washington, southern Utah, things like that. Here it's a much broader kind of stroke, both Western Canada and Alaska. And I think it's just the fact that I don't know if I'll ever get back, especially to northern Canada and Alaska, so I figured I had to do it all at one time. And even coming back, as though I'm going through some of the national parks of Western Canada, I think I'll get back there again. So I'm doing this kind of as a, well, I'm in the area, let's take a look, and you know, kind of do a first inspection or a first survey of the area, so that the next time I come, I'll have a better idea of what I'm after and what I'll go shoot from a photography perspective. So yeah, that's the second item. The third area is kind of a mode of transportation. On this trip that's pretty unique is I'm going to travel to a few places by ferry. Now, the only ferries that I've ever done is I did a quick crossing, you know, almost like a commuter crossing across Puget Sound when I was in Washington. But again, what was that? I don't know, 40 minutes at best, on and off. Anyways, it was short. And this one here, I'm doing a couple of ferry rides that will be hours long, and there's no option. I have to, if I want to go to these places, I have to take the ferry. And speaking of boat travel, I have 3 boat tours planned for this trip. they're really to get out and see glaciers and some of the fjords, and really it's probably focused more on getting some good photography while I'm out here. But part of Alaska, especially the parts that you can really get to, are on the coast, and what better way to experience the coastal life and the sea life, and then, like I said, the glaciers, than to get out on a boat tour. So yeah, that's a pretty touristy thing, something that I wouldn't normally do, but I figured it was probably the proper thing to do, or the best thing to do, when I was in Alaska. You know, as I mentioned, the boat trips are a bit touristy, and they're not going to end there for me. I'm doing a few touristy things. You know, when I go through Jasper and Banff National Parks, that's going to be real touristy, especially with the time of year. So, you know, I have one item booked to go out to the ice fields. And who knows when I'm there if I'll find something else, but I know there's going to be so many people on this trip that I'm going to feel much more like a tourist than normal. So yeah, that's pretty unique for me. I like to stay away from lots of people, and you know, I'd rather be out in the backcountry and exploring places that have very few people. But I don't think that's going to happen on this trip. And I guess the last thing I'll mention is the length of this trip. You know, I normally, the trips that I've been on so far with GBN have been more around 30, 35 days. This one's going to be 60, and it's not one that you would probably wrap up early, because if you did, you're not going to see very much. There's a lot of mileage to put in, and 60 days is a long time to be out on the road. So it'll be a new experience. One that I'm kind of looking forward to, because, you know, I think it makes sense to, if not be out longer, to be out doing more trips, more longer trips, maybe a couple a year. And I'll see how I do, and hopefully with this new truck and the comforts they provide, it'll make for a much easier process to do that. So yeah, those are some of the unique things that I'm doing on this trip, and should make for a unique experience and something that I'm looking forward to. So yeah, I'm here sitting at my campsite in Riding Mountain National Park in Manitoba. Got here, I'd say about an hour or so ago, maybe an hour and a half. So I'm just enjoying a little of the sunshine that keeps peeking in and out. Pretty easy drive today. It was just around 300 miles or so. Nothing particularly interesting happened during the drive. This is a very wooded national park area. Evidently, there's lots of wildlife in the area. I'm at campsite number 575, and I'll tell you, there's not many people around at all. There's a couple of people scattered around, but generally nobody's here. A lot of the facilities, bath houses or bathrooms are closed. There's only a couple that are open. So it must still be out of season, although it is June 6th, so I'm surprised. So it'll be a quiet night. I'll make some food and chill out, relax, and be off again tomorrow to my next destination. So with that, I'll say good night and catch you in the morning. Well, good afternoon. Yes, it's afternoon. I didn't do anything vlogging this morning before I left. I'm currently at camp at the Borden Bridge recreational site in just northwest of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I don't know if you can tell, hopefully you got kind of from some of the images that I've sent around this of how windy it is. It's gusts of 25, 30 miles an hour. This is going to be a real test of my new rig tonight. How well it will, kind of hold up in the wind. So far, as I'm just sitting here, it's acting pretty strongly. In other words, there's not much flapping going on. Even with the gusts. Second test is going to be, I'm going to be pretty much inside the cabin most of the day. Hopefully I'll get out and grab a quick walk, but it's blustery out there, boy. And this could have been a really nice sight too, because the view is pretty nice, looking over this river and the nice kind of majestic looking bridge up the riverway there. But yeah, no, it's going to be a test. And I almost booked a hotel. In fact, I did book one and then I decided to cancel it. I didn't want to give up. And yeah, no, this wind's going to be make for a tricky night. So we'll see how it goes. I'll catch up if I have more information, or I'll catch up in the morning. Well, good morning. I just left camp a couple of minutes ago. Weather's much better today. It's sunny and I wouldn't call it warm yet, but it's supposed to warm up into the 70s. Last night it was got down into the mid-40s. It was a chilly mid-40s though with the wind, but no big deal. Today I'm heading to Wababan Lake Provincial Park in Edmonton. It's about 330 miles, typical day. I guess I'll just check back in later if there's something interesting to talk about. Again, as I sit here driving to Edmonton, I started thinking about something I didn't mention the other day when we were talking about some of the unique experiences I might have in this trip, and that's my photography and videography. Now let's start with my photography. photography is typically the whole reason why I do my GBN trips. It's the whole purpose behind doing them. And when I go out to a certain location, I usually arrive with a whole list of images in my head, at least, of the kinds of things that I want to photograph. Sometimes they're very specific subjects, and maybe at certain periods of time, at certain lighting conditions. But I always have in my mind pretty exactly what I want to try to capture on that trip for photography. Well, this trip is going to be really different. I'm actually headed into this trip with virtually no idea what I'm going to take pictures of. I guess in general terms, yeah, I want to get some glaciers and some of the sea life that I obviously will see while I'm out there. But I don't have any specific subjects that I want to get. And with the long days, I have no idea what the light will look like either. So it's going to be an interesting trip from that perspective, and the fact that I have no clue. I don't know what I'll get. My hope is by the end of the trip, I will have taken the time and used the chance to be a little bit more liberated from having a set of images to something that I've captured some things that I'm really happy with. But I guess we'll only see it by the end of the trip. Now, when we get down to western, southern Canada, I really don't care what I capture there as much, because I look at that more as a scouting trip. Unlike Alaska and northern Canada, I think I'll get back to southern Canada, western Canada again. In fact, I know I will. And so I'll treat this as a scouting trip. I'll take some images, but what I'll really try to do is to try to get a feel of what's there, what I can see, what I can get, and I'll be in better condition when I get back there to do that. So yeah, that's my kind of look at photography. So let's talk videography. I've never talked about my videography before, but I thought it might be useful to do that now. I make these videos really for my own personal use. It's a way for me to document my experiences so that later on, when I'm unable to do this, I can just sit back and kind of get a feel for, oh yeah, remember I did that trip? It's that kind of thing. So I really just do it to grab those experiences. I post it on YouTube really as a way of allowing my family and some friends to see what I did when I was out on these trips. I've been fortunate enough that people have subscribed to them and seem to enjoy them, at least from the comments that they've given me. But I have no intention of ever doing anything more with this. I'm not trying to grab subscribers. I appreciate when they come to the channel and watch. And I certainly have no intention of ever monetizing the channel. I'm not doing it for that. I just do it for me. I guess I can say is that, in all honesty, I have a love-hate relationship with videography. I've taken video and then decided, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore, and then I'd create a video and change my mind completely and say, boy, I'm really enjoying that part of it. I think I'll continue doing it. And there's a couple of reasons why I think I have that. Is unlike photography that I enjoy while I'm doing it, videography is a pain in the neck doing it. It's a lot more work. You really have to spend more time thinking about what it is you're going to capture and how certain clips of images are going to come together, hopefully to create an interesting story. And yeah, it just takes a whole heck of a lot of planning, more work. And sometimes feels like it could take away from the actual experience that I'm trying to have on these trips. So yeah, that's a little bit of what's going on with the video portions of this for this trip. And like I said, I figured I'd just talk a little bit about both photography and videography that I'll be doing on this trip, and how different it is from other trips that I've done in the past. Okay, still about 130 miles away from my destination for the day, so I'll catch up when I get to camp. Okay, I just arrived at the campground. I have to wait half an hour for my site to be opened up. But let me take a minute and show you why I went to Home Depot. So let me show you the rock slider. I'm not sure how easy it is to see. You can see that the paint, the powder coating, is starting to come off where I step into the truck. Now, I called the company that made the rock sliders, and they've already responded to me and said that they had a batch of 7 units. They didn't know which ones they were, that the powder coater told them that they didn't cure something correctly. And turns out I'm number 6 of the 7. And so they're making a financial kind of settlement to allow me to get these redone, if that's what I want to do. But for now, since I'm not going to be home for quite a while, I'm just going to sand them and give them a quick coat of paint so that they'll be protected. So I'll do that once I get to camp. And while it's sunny out. Scratch this part up, clean it up. This is the only part that I'm actually going to coat. I think the cleaning is going to be more. So I got that taped up. I think that'll be fine for what I got to do. Let's give it a whirl and see what happens. Okay. That's coated at least once. I'll give it some time to dry, and we'll come back for a second coat, and that should do it. First coat's dry, time for a second coat. Let's see how this comes out. Good morning. Just about to leave Wobbleman Lake Provincial Park, and today's day 8, and it's a kind of a special day because today I get to Dawson Creek, and that'll be the end of the first leg of this trip. It'll close the cross-country portion and it'll really get the whole journey started, the whole trip. Tonight I have a hotel booked, just as a way of quickly recovering from the cross-country tour and get ready for the next leg of the trip. I got about 365 miles to drive today. Getting a pretty early start. It's a beautiful day, just beautiful. I think when I woke up it was about 59 degrees. It was probably one of the best nights I've had on this whole trip so far. But when I get to Dawson Creek, we'll check back in and catch up. Well, we made it. We're here in Dawson Creek. As you can see, I'm in my hotel room. And tonight I'm just going to relax, chill out, get all my things kind of reorganized, and get ready for the next leg of the trip. Yeah, I'll probably go out for some dinner as well. Overall, I'm pretty excited. It was a long trip across country, about 2,900 miles, but got there without any major incidents, and that's a good thing. Truck did pretty well. Yeah, there were a couple of minor things that got in the way, but we'll get those fixed over time, and that's probably pretty much to be expected on a new build, so not a big deal. Tomorrow I'll head up the Alaska Highway. Over the next 6 days, it's about 900 miles to Carcross, something in that neighborhood. I'm going to do a slow roll, just kind of a little bit of mileage every day, trying to step down the pace, trying to get into the real part of the trip, which really begins now. So with that, I'm going to log off, and hopefully you'll join me for the next ones, and I thank you for joining me on this one. Good night.